it's like, uh, telling others that, they are abusing me 300 days, but 64, 65 days they treat me right as well. Yeah. So, these, 60, 65 days are enough for me to remain in that relationship, even though they are abusing me for 300 days. This is what it means. Yeah. Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about, the different ways we justify our relationship with our narcissistic parents. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. So, I mean, we all have been through, that stage and that phase where we keep justifying, our relationship, with our narcissistic parents. We keep gaslighting others, we keep gaslighting our own self, you know, to fit in, to somehow survive. Yeah, because it's really difficult. It's next to impossible to accept that, our primary caregivers, were our first bully, were our, first abusers. It is difficult, it is painful, it's next to impossible. So the best thing is to survive that relationship. Let's gaslight others, let's gaslight our own self. Yeah, because, if we start accepting the truth, that relationship will end. Our relationship with our narcissistic parent, the day we accept the truth, the day we accept the things the way it is, that marks, the end of our relationship with our narcissistic parents. Yeah. And not all of us, have that, courage and strength. Some of us are weak. I was weak as well, but later on, with time, I did gather all the courage and I did what was needed. Yeah. And that was to protect my own self, to protect my peace, to protect, uh, my own existence. And for that, I had to go no contact. I had to, first go low contact, and then I had to go no contact, because, they kept on guilt tripping me, they kept on shaming me, they kept on invalidating, my pain and, the bad things that I went through. And, they were just not doing any kind of labor. I had to do all the labor. I had to do the labor to, keep the relationship going. And then, one fine day I realized that, I am, lying to myself. I am, just finding ways, to be with them, whereas they are just not interested. Yeah, they are just treating me like shit. And then, I started, doing the needful, and with time, you know um, things changed. I was able to protect myself, I was able to preserve myself. So, I mean, coming to the different ways we justify, our relationship with our narcissistic parents. And, before I go into, the different ways, you know uh, this happens, when we are trauma bonded, when we are codependent, when we are extremely emotionally dependent and enmeshed with our narcissistic parent. Then, we tend to do all of these things. And, after that, some of us have this realization and we do the needful, we go no contact or low contact. But this is the phase that, we all go through at some point. Yeah, I mean, we gaslight ourselves, we gaslight others, and we, keep justifying our narcissistic parents abusive behavior. Yeah, we keep justifying our relationship with them. Yeah. So what are the different ways, we justify our relationship with our narcissistic parents? The first and the most common one is, we tell ourselves and we tell others also that, they had a difficult childhood, so they don't know any better. They had a rough start, and they are the way they are because of their rough start. I mean, covert narcissistic parent might have narrated a version of story, might have, rewritten history and narrated a sad sob story to you. And, based on those, information and story, developed, a kind of an image. And, that image helps you, that image helps you, to survive that relationship, yeah, by not accepting them as the abuser, and by simply blaming their bad behavior onto their childhood, just because they had a difficult childhood and neglected, and they were mistreated. They are the result of that experience. They are the way they are because of their childhood. Now you don't have to hold them accountable. You secretly don't want to lose them. You secretly don't want to hold them accountable. So the best way is to just blind yourself and gaslight your own self and the others, and tell them and your own self that they are the way they are because of their difficult backstory, because of their childhood. If they had a good childhood, they would have given me a good childhood. Yeah, so that's how twisted it gets. In order to survive that relationship, in order to please them, in order to reflect them as a good parent, in order to keep the relationship going, we do a lot of stupid things. Yeah, and this is basically to please them. This is basically to numb ourselves and soothe ourselves in some weird way, and that's it. Now, are you guys understanding the kind of self gaslighting we engage in? Yeah, solely to survive that relationship and not upset the narcissistic parent. Yeah, not you know causing them any kind of narcissistic injury, not hurting their ego. Yeah, because if we do so, you know what happens next. They're going to treat you like shit. They're going to make your life hell. The other common way we justify our relationship with our narcissistic parent is by saying that they are not always like this. They can be so loving sometimes. Yeah, so this is another way, with the help of which we gaslight ourselves, we gaslight the others. And this is basically to you know uh, tell that there's a good side to them as well. They're not horrible all the time. Sometimes they are really sweet, sometimes they are really cute, they are really loving. Yeah, and this is basically to justify the relationship, that they are not abusive every day. It's like uh, telling others that they are abusing me 300 days, but 64, 65 days they treat me right as well. Yeah, so these 60, 65 days are enough for me to remain in that relationship, even though they are abusing me for 300 days. This is what it means. Yeah, but it's difficult to say, it's difficult to do what's needed. Yeah, because we are trained, we are conditioned to not use boundaries. We are conditioned and trained and groomed to keep pleasing our abuser, our narcissistic parents. So it becomes very difficult to hold them accountable for their action and behavior, because then they are going to throw rage, they are going to do a number on you, they are going to play victim, and they are going to ostracize you, they are going to run smear campaign. They have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. And the best way to maintain the relationship, the best way to survive that toxic relationship is by gaslighting your own self and gaslighting the others. Yeah, if people tell you, well, your mother is treating you like shit, your mother is really abusive, then how would you justify your relationship with her? You are going to stand up and say, I get it, 300 days she has abused me, I get it. There are a couple of days that she treats me well. So I mean, that's reason enough for me to go back to my mom. That's the reason enough to have a relationship with my mother. I mean, the narcissistic mother. The other way we justify our relationship with our narcissistic parent is by gaslighting our own self, by saying maybe I'm overreacting or too sensitive. And again, you need to understand, this is not your voice. Yeah, if you're telling this to yourself, or if you're telling this to the others, you need to understand that this is not your voice. It's the internalized gaslighting speaking for them. Yeah, they had been gaslighting, gaslighting, gaslighting. That's their love language. and as a result of which, you have internalized, all that gaslighting statements, and now, you are gaslighting your own self by saying, maybe I'm overreacting, maybe I'm just being too sensitive. Yeah, I mean, they damage you, beyond, imagination. Yeah, that's the kind of, damage these narcissistic parents do to you. I mean, when you are raised by narcissistic parents, they will gaslight you on a regular basis, and there'll come a time when, you really don't need them to gaslight you. You will start gaslighting your own self. You will do everything possible to hurt yourself, to endure, to suffer, and to keep the relationship going. That's how, intoxicating, narcissistic relationships are, because of the highs and lows, inconsistent behavior, unpredictable, environment. You are addicted, to the narcissist, and the same thing is with these narcissistic parents. Yeah, you will do anything and everything to keep the relationship going. Yeah, because, ending the relationship with them, will cause more problem, inheritance, you might not get money, your siblings might, leave you, your siblings might, hate you, your relatives might, disconnect with you, people are going to, stop talking to you. So, there is a lot of, problem, that you are, really scared to face. You are just not interested to face all of those issues and problems. So, the best thing is, gaslight your own self, gaslight the others, and, keep, the relationship on. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell my narcissistic mother that she's a bitch, she's been hurtful, she's been abusive, she won't understand, she's going to invalidate. So the best thing is, to gaslight my own self and survive the relationship. The other way we justify our relationship with our narcissistic parent is by, you know, telling ourselves and the other is that, they need me, I can help them change. Yeah, that's also again a very tricky thing. I mean, hope keeps us, trapped in narcissistic relationship. So, we justify our relationship with our narcissistic parent by, telling others that, they need me, and love can change anything and everything. I know, and I will be able to change them one day. So don't tell me to do the difficult thing. Don't tell me to end relationship. Don't tell me to hold them accountable. My love is going to change them one day. And this is something that we genuinely believe. At some point, we genuinely believe that our love and obedience and, our submission is going to transform them. And, with time we realize that, you know we are treated even more horribly. Yeah, nothing is changing. They are becoming more toxic as how they age, and that's it. I mean, we were, put through shit, and now we are put through more of the shit. Yeah, so nothing really changes. But yes, this idea is sold to us. Yeah, it's all hammered in our head that, love can change. And if you love your narcissistic parents, if you keep forgiving them, if you keep giving them second chances, one day they will understand, you. One day they will see your worth and value. One day they are going to, appreciate you. One day they are going to see you for who you are, and they are going to accept you, and it'll be a happy, beautiful family. But that day never comes. The other weird way, we justify our relationship with our narcissistic parent is, by, uh, telling, that, they are, family, or they are my partner, or whatsoever. In this case, of course, we are talking about narcissistic family. They are family, they are my parent, I can't just walk away. Yeah, and, you need to understand that title doesn't equal entitlement. Yeah, abuse is abuse, and no matter who it's coming from. Yeah, so, others will also gaslight you. Others will also, you know hammer this idea in your head that, they are your parent, they are your family. And, you also start accepting that, they are family. you know um they are family and I can't just, walk away. I can't just leave them.
Yeah.
So what if they are abusing? I'm going to, be quiet. I'm going to become the bigger person. Yeah, one day they are going to change, they are going to transform, and all of this is because of enmeshment and trauma bonding. No person in the right state of their mind is going to tolerate abuse. Abuse is abuse, whether it comes from your father, mother, auntie, granddad, teacher, whatever. So, title doesn't, justify abuse. So if abuse is coming from your mother, that doesn't mean that, she cannot be held accountable and responsible. That doesn't mean that, she's not the abuser. Yeah, if, abuse is coming from your father, that doesn't mean that, he's your father and not your abuser. Whereas in reality, if he's abusing you, he's your abuser as well. Yeah, as well as your father. So, this, title, doesn't necessarily, equal to entitlement. You need to understand that. Yeah, if your father is there or if your mother is there, they're not entitled to abuse you. No, that's wrong. Yeah, bad is bad, abuse is abuse. So, we do go through that phase. We do, justify our relationship. And why do we do that? Because we are scared of their narcissistic rage. We are scared of losing the relationship and being judged by our relatives and other sibling. We are scared of their wrath and fury. We are scared of losing the inheritance. In some cases, we are scared of, being seen as the bad guy. Yeah, so, these are the reasons why we come up with all these ideas, why we, internalize, these kind of ideas, and why we use these kind of phrases and statements. It's basically to justify our relationship with our abuser. Well, it's family after all. I can't walk away, I can't leave them, they are old. Okay, so go ahead, live with them. Go ahead and, get yourself abused more. Yeah, I mean, stay where you feel good. I mean, have a good time with your narcissistic parents. Yeah, I mean, there is so much of guilt and shame that actually, makes us, justify, our relationship with our narcissistic parent. Rather than holding them accountable, we want to reflect them as a good parent, we want to show them as a good parent, and we want to show others that we have a healthy relationship with them. Yeah, because, if we hold them accountable, we might have to, lose that relationship. Yeah, because narcissistic individuals, will do anything and everything to preserve their ego. Yeah, and if you hold them accountable, that in a way is going to hurt their ego. They're not healthy individuals. Yeah, who's going to prioritize the relationship, over, their pride or ego or whatsoever. So, things are very different. And, when you are raised by narcissistic parents, you grow up with a distorted sense of self. You grow up with a distorted understanding about other things. Also, you perceive things in a whole different way, even though you have this hunch, you have this feeling on the inside that there's something off, but you will not be able to vocalize, you will not be able to, give words to it, you will not be able to articulate it. Yeah, so, this happens. I mean, this happens, in the brain when you are exposed to a lot of these, abusive episodes by your narcissistic parents. Our, broca's area, also gets affected. And, it becomes really difficult, for us to put words to our experience and feeling and emotion. Yeah, so, narcissistic abuse damages you at various levels, and it damages you more if you are raised by narcissistic parents. Then you are beyond repair. I mean, some of us, yes, I mean, we do run away, but, repairing yourself and healing will be an ongoing process. It won't be that you're 100% healed. I'm not 100% healed. I do go through a lot of, ups and downs, a lot of sad, depressive episodes. And, that's life for me. Then I have to counsel myself, I have to push myself, I have to take help of my partner, and then I have to, start over. I have to, keep moving ahead, I have to keep moving forward. So it's not easy. And the last weird way we justify our relationship with our narcissistic parent is by, saying, if I just try harder, maybe things will get better. And you need to understand, you are not the problem, and no amount of self-sacrifice will fix, someone who doesn't want to change. Yeah, so you are just sacrificing. Maybe you were informed that you need to sacrifice in order to become the bigger person, and one fine day, things will be good, it will be happy, and your parents are going to transform. No, abusers will become more abusive, and no amount of self-sacrifice is going to you know uh, change your abuser. Yeah, if you are sacrificing, you're just making yourself more available. If you're sacrificing, you're just telling your abuser that it's okay, you can take me to level 5, it's okay, you can take me to level 10, I'm ready for more abuse, bring it on. Yeah, so when you are raised by narcissistic parents, you are trained to tolerate disrespect, you are trained to tolerate abuse, you are trained to tolerate a lot of bad things. Yeah, so this notion that if you try harder, one day things will change. If I try harder, things are going to change. That's how things are. You have to keep doing and doing. Yeah, but when it comes to an abusive person, when it comes to an entitled person, trust me, nothing changes. They become more entitled, they become more toxic, and that's it, and they'll take you for granted. So don't hope that things are going to change if you sacrifice. If you're sacrificing, you're just telling them, I'm ready, abuse me more. So yes, these were, some of the weird ways we justify our relationship with our narcissistic parents. In case if you would like to add in something, you can always comment below. Till then, take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.